Hi there. Welcome to the Kel-n-Rich Show. My name is Kel, and this is my wonderful husband, Rich.
Nice to see you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us.
So we're going to be picking back up the Ask Kel-n-Rich segment. So we have the questions on the other computer, and we're just going to get right to it.
Absolutely. So Jim Giacumis,
Hi, Jim.
48 years old from Rolling Meadows, Illinois. What do you recommend that I need or must do to get out of my own comfort zone and just be humble? Be humble. Comfort zone, being humble, okay. Sociable, transparent, and an all-around good man. Love that question. Thank you, Kel-n-Rich. You want to hit that one, Kel, from a women's perspective?
Okay, so those are pretty deep, important things that you want. I don't really know much about you, so what I would say is, why are you wanting to change? And you know what it is you would like to change, but the why is really important. So it's really, for me, been about sitting quietly and figuring out, shutting down all the noise. And I mean noise of people, family, perceived friends, and other distractions. So I came from a background where I was constantly told I was selfish. And so what I became was selfless. I wasn't invested in my own progress at all because, God heaven forbid, I should be interested in me. But where that left me is it left me with a big void, because then none of my needs were being met because I was busy scurrying around taking care of the needs of everybody else. So when I finally made the leap to change everything, I did it in one fell swoop, and I spent a lot of time by myself just thinking about what I wanted and who I was and where did I get lost and who was I now. And it wasn't selfish, it was self-investment. I don't know if you've already started at that place, but there's a lot of resources out there to help you find out who you are. And this man is one of them, because he has spent a quarter of a century helping men, being involved in men's organizations all around the world. And the reason I'm saying this is because I have been observing him and his group. I have been watching very closely on how these men and how he transforms when they're together. And it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I wish that there was more for women. I really do, because these men's groups and the teams are really geared to help bring out the best in men. From what I have read, this very small little paragraph, I think that you already have some great inner workings, and you're just looking for some ways to augment what you have. I feel really strongly that in this lifetime, a lot of the time we are taught to come from a position of void. We're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not fast enough, nobody tells us we're great. As we get older, no one tells you you're fantastic, you're just supposed to innately believe it. It's very complicated, and there are great resources out there to help you help yourself. So this is the first step.
Thanks, Kel. We have sun that's shining upon you as you were saying that, so you'll move closer to me, and I think we'll avoid that.
Oh, damn, I have to move closer again.
Bit distracting for the viewer, I would imagine.
Oh, right, okay.
But we heard all of what you said, and that's great. I'll just pick up on some of the things that Kel was mentioning. I'm going to read it again. When you look at recommendations, getting out of your own comfort zone. Okay, so to get out of your comfort zone, you want to, first of all, like Kel said, what's going on that you believe you're comfortable? Okay, what evidence do you have that you're comfortable? Let's talk about that first. So do a quick little inventory on what it is that you feel that you're comfortable about or too comfortable. What do you want to be different? We'll come back to what to do with that. To be humble. Well, being humble is just really being in gratitude and being in awe of the opportunity we have to live, the people around us, the people who actually give a shit about us.
And being in gratitude for what you've created in your life. Taking credit for the really, really great and awesome things that you've made happen in your own life. At this point in your life, you're almost 50, you've had half a century of practice of getting things right. That's so cool. Celebrate your own successes. There's very few people in the world who will encourage you at this stage. And if you've got them around you, these people who are your cheerleaders, then that is awesome. Help spread that. But sometimes we have to be our own cheerleaders, and it can be tough. So you want to be humble, and you want to admit your success, and you want to celebrate that success. So take credit for what you've done.
Definitely take credit and just acknowledge what you've accomplished in your life.
Yeah.
And then be thankful that look what you got to do. That's the key statement and the key idea of being humble. Look what I get to do, not look what I did, or look what I'm doing, or look what I have to do, or look what will happen. Look what I get to do. And all of a sudden, you go right into the place of humility. Sociable. What evidence do you have that says that you're not sociable?
Great question.
So based on so far the three areas: comfort zone, humble, and sociable. I would challenge you that you might be judging yourself a little bit too harshly. That I'm not sure what evidence you have that you're lacking at this point. Mm-hmm. Let's assume that you are, and we'll move from that point. Okay. So hold up, Kel, because we're going to do another one after this. Okay. And I know your time is running short.
To say.
Okay, say it now.
I love my passions. And what I've really realized is it's never too late to recognize that you have a passion that you haven't acknowledged. There's many things inside of me that are coming forward now at 44 that there was no hope of them even having a breath of life 15 or 10 or even 7 or 5 years ago. And I'm changing and evolving, and I feel like I'm this little kid again who's getting a second ride around life, except this time it's not work, it's an amusement park of fun. So I have a vision of a 6x6 painting that I'm going to paint. I am not a painter, but I'm going to paint this painting. And I'm going to paint it to music because the music is calling to me, and it's time that I express it in color. Where did that come from? I have no idea. Doesn't matter. Not really. There's going to be sparkles on it, and I don't care if anybody likes it because it's coming from me for me. I've never tried anything like that, but I am going to do that. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter how strange it may seem, or you may think it's odd, or don't judge any of what your internal workings are, but let them come forward for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's a great addition, Kel. You want to be more transparent. So let's talk about transparent versus authentic. All right. So I'm not sure that you want to be transparent. Transparency can lead to maybe unseen vulnerabilities, people possibly taking advantage of you, but that's a little more kind of advanced down the road of how can someone actually take advantage of you. But transparent versus living authentically. And I think that may be what you're asking. To live authentically, you just have to know who you are first, and then go with what you want to cause in the world, and know that sounds like a big grandiose statement, or very highbrow. What am I going to cause in the world? But really, it's what drives me. What's my identity? What's my identity that I want to put out there, and what do I want people to see? And I think that's what you mean by transparency. And I think what you want them to see is that you're living in balance, and you're living authentically from your whatever drives you, whatever your passions are, as Kel was saying. And this is the kicker right here for me, for your question. And an all-around good man Well, what evidence do you have that says that you're not a good man?
That's
So
a great
let's
question.
start with that. And let's assume that you're not a good man. Like you believe that you're a bad man. You're putting yourself in the bad room. You're coming from the island of wrong versus the island of right. So that's the first thing that I would say around being a good man, is that a good man realizes that we learn from our mistakes, we learn from our failures, and it doesn't make us bad. It makes us have experience. And a good man comes from what you bring to the world. So a good man versus a bad man's going to bring evil and destruction and stepping over others to get to where he wants to be. Where a good man talks about my community, he uses the word we. When he's speaking about himself, he uses the word I, versus grandstanding, okay, and getting on a soapbox. A good man has empathy. A good man knows what his tone is and how it can affect others, and that he could be quite scary to children and women and other men. So a good man is in control and can influence how he is in the world. And as long as your intention is good and you can square that each day and say, what did I accomplish today? You're being a pretty good man. We can't really ask for more than that.
And what I would add is that oftentimes, and of course this is in context of me, but I know other people have felt this way, sometimes we walk around and we wear the definitions that are put upon us by others. It's not what you really are, it's what someone is telling you you are. So is someone in your life telling you that you're not a good man? And if they are saying that to you, is it true? Is it their idea of what they believe is the status?
Yeah.
So I'm only a good girl when I follow the directions of my parents. And when I don't do what they say, I'm a bad girl. What I realized as I got older was they had their expectations of what they wanted me to be. And when I didn't meet those expectations, I was in the bad category. And so it's not that I'm actually a bad person or I was a bad kid or a bad teenager. Actually, it's the opposite. I was squeaky clean. But it was just because what I was doing didn't match their definition. So do you have someone in your life that's trying to define you? Or are you making analysis? What evidence do you have that you're anything less than a good man?
Yeah, it's great, Kel. And I'm going to read the question now to finish up. Because now that we've been through that, we've been through the exercise of what evidence do you have and who says it's, who's the judge and jury and executioner of what you say you are. So I think the fact that you're asking the question is fantastic, and it means that you're going towards, like Kel said, you're out of your comfort zone, I would imagine. You don't just go asking strangers and putting publicly out on a forum like this, what can I do to be actually a good man? How do I get out of my comfort zone? I'm a pretty comfy guy. I'm not really humble. I kind of think a lot of myself. I want to be more humble. Not very sociable. I don't like people. I don't like to go around people. You see what I mean? So that's how I view your question. I believe you're all of this, but you want to be more. You've seen it in another person, other people, or you have, like what Kel says, the labels and the categorizations and all that stuff on you, and maybe all you need is other men around you to actually assess what they see, and that's the value of the men's groups. Okay, and I'll get into more of that on other videos. It's all free. We're not selling a damn thing. Anything that I would ever tell you on this channel about this stuff, about men's work or community work, we're not selling products. We're not leading you down a path. Never, never, never. It's always going to be free. So I want to clear that right away. And
I have 2 suggestions.
Yeah, I just want to make sure
finish.
that I've really answered him fully here. I think we covered it. I think we covered it, Jim. Need or must do to get out of my own. What do you're on the cusp. You're on the cusp. You came out and you asked. So contact me, and I believe that we can really do some magic.
I would like to make two other statements before we close off.
Absolutely.
So there's a book out there, and I've read it, and he's read it.
Before you say that, I don't want to start mentioning that book.
Oh,
yet,
well,
okay?
perhaps you can email Rich.
Yeah, I don't want to start pushing that book because it's controversial and it's got a controversial title.
Okay.
And I totally appreciate what you wanted to do. This is not a hanger, you guys. We're not giving you a cliffhanger. It's just that if we're going to start recommending self-help books, that's a real slippery slope because we don't want to be labeled as followers or zealots of those things. So all we're going to say, can you say it without mentioning the book, please?
There are many resources out there for men in the realm of how to help you along your journey to find out the man that you are. Not whether you're a good man or a great man, but to help you be more in touch with the man that you are intrinsically. And there's a list of books. There's many of them out there.
Just tools.
Yeah.
Tools.
They're ideas, but there are things that may help you. There's 2 or 3 that I can think of. And they're just really great resources. And as a woman who's read these books, the reason I've read them is because I wanted to know what made him tick.
And that's just one, again, I'm being real sensitive.
Which is good.
It's obvious.
You can email us.
You heard what I just said about this, is that I don't want to be attached. I don't want Kel to be attached to any sort of ideology or anything like that.
No.
That's not our agenda. That's not what we want to have happen. But she's saying that there are a couple tools that I'll use. I'll pull some key paragraphs or chapters when I'm in a group or we're talking about some concepts like this, like transparency or comfort zone stuff or humble as a man. Oh my God, what a great conversation. What magic can happen when a man goes from here to here in his understanding and his noticing, his learning, and his practicing in his life. And that's another way to become a better man. I would just say a better version of yourself. You're already a good man. You're already a good man. Your behaviors don't define you. Okay?
And
your context does.
The second point, that's a great point. The second point that I'd like to make in closing is that in terms of being more sociable, we are socially selective. It's not that we're not sociable. We just are selective as we have to be because we don't have a lot of time to be social right now. We work full-time, we do this, there's a house to manage, there's tennis to play, we have many things going on.
Balls to swat.
Yeah, we're selective with our socializing. And perhaps you are not, it's not that you're not social, maybe you're just being very selective about how you're social, and it's maybe finding the right outlet for you wanting to be social. So I think that's a bigger conversation.
Yeah. I'm trying to block the sun
from being... Oh, no, I like the sun.
There we go.
So perhaps you can send us an email. Kel, K-E-L-N-Rich, R-I-C-H-G, all one word, at gmail.com.
Yeah. So...
My nose is so itchy. Oh, sorry.
There we go.
It's almost time.
We don't want to rush. We don't want you to feel like you're being rushed at all. We do want to take our time, and we need to have alarms occasionally to keep us on track. Because
it's easy for us to.
It's really easy for us
away.
to really be invested in what we're doing here. So it's 9 a.m. in beautiful sunny South Florida in the middle of the summer. And we're gonna exit now. And
hopefully
thank you so much, Jim, for your question, for your honesty, and really look forward to more. Definitely get some men in your life that you believe might be a good sounding board. That's really the first step. Don't do this alone. Don't lone wolf. Oh, don't do it. Contact me. I can hook you up.
Yes.
It's all.
Thank you for asking.
Doesn't cost anything.
That's the first step to new.
All right.
Later. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you all soon. Bye.
See ya.